Hey everybody. So, I wanted to talk to everybody today about what we put in our bodies, what we feed our bodies to fuel our bodies. So, a friend asked a group of us if we would be willing to teach or facilitate a class on anything, and if we would, what would it be? So, one of my big passions is learning over the years how things affect my body, how what I put in my body affects every aspect of my life, from my physical health to my mental and emotional health. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. So I will tell you, mine started. Um, I was on birth control from the time I was 16, 17. I don't remember exactly. Young. I didn't think much of it. I'd always had heavy periods as a kid. So the idea of birth control helping regulate that, lighten them up a little bit, wonderful. Then, of course, as I became a sexually active teenager, even better. Um, didn't think much of it when I was younger. I did all different kinds of pills, regular birth control pills. I did the Depo-Provera shot for a while. I did the one, I can't remember what it's called, where you take the pills for like 3 months, you don't have a period for 3 months, or you only have a period once every 3 months, I think. I can't remember what it's called. And then as I started getting older, I never really paid attention to the effect that it had on me. I didn't see it at the time. I didn't realize that's what it was. But then as I started getting older, I was a smoker, and my doctor straight up told me that she would not prescribe me birth control pills anymore if I was still smoking, because over the age of, I think it's 35, your risk for blood clots increases exponentially if you are a smoker on birth control. So when I turned 35, I wasn't smoking regular cigarettes anymore. I had switched to the e-cigarette, but my doctor still wasn't comfortable prescribing birth control. And I mean, the more I started thinking about it, it's like, well, I've been pumping an artificial hormone into my body for almost 20 years. Maybe we should stop. So I was still married at the time. My husband and I discussed it. We both agreed I would go off my birth control. And honestly, that is kind of where my journey to self-realization started. I could not believe the changes in the way I felt, the way I thought, the way I processed information, just from stopping birth control. So I'm not out there trying to tell you how to live your life. I'm telling you how things affected me. For me, pumping that hormone into my body, I mean, little pill every day, you don't think much of it. You don't think it's a big deal, but it regulated every aspect of my body. I was worried that my periods would go crazy because they were super heavy when I was younger, like 7, 8 days, and heavy 4 or 5 days of that. So I was scared that once I stopped taking birth control, that would come back. Thankfully, that did not happen. But the only way I can think to explain it, it was like the fog lifted. That's the only way I can think to explain it, really. Literally everything changed when I stopped taking birth control. I mean, I'm not blaming all of the world's ills on birth controls, please don't get me wrong. It's just the way it affected me. I thought differently, I felt differently, I acted differently. And that is really what got me started really paying attention to what I put into my body. Like I said, for years, I was depressed, didn't realize it at the time. I called myself lazy. A lot of people that say they love me called me lazy. I told myself for years that I was a procrastinator. I was a horrible housekeeper. I just didn't care, whatever. Well, in reality, I was eating myself into a food coma. I didn't think or care about what I put in my body. I ordered pizza there for a while. I was literally ordering pizza 2, 3, sometimes 4 times a week. And not just pizza, because you can't have pizza without breadsticks or garlic bread or, all the stuff that goes with it. And I would be sitting there eating it, and I would be full. Like, there's no question, I'm full. But I would still keep eating because it tasted good, because I wanted more. Or sometimes, obviously, eating that big of a meal, I just wanted to go to sleep. I knew if I ate a lot, I'd be able to fall asleep. And it was just, I literally ate myself into a food coma for I don't know how many years. My doctor started getting on me. My triglycerides were through the roof. Thankfully, through the miracle of genetics, my actual overall cholesterol was not that bad. And my blood pressure was still pretty good. So health-wise, I lucked out. Because I could have been doing, and I probably still did, quite a bit of damage. And I'm hoping that the things I'm doing now are changing that, but I didn't care. Like, sugary cereal for breakfast, donuts for breakfast, baked goods. I love to bake, so I would naturally eat everything I made. Cookies, cakes, all kinds of pastries, and try this and try that, and breads with sugars and butters, just craziness. And like I said, pizza, but not just pizza, because when you order from this place, their breadsticks are really good, or when you order from this place, their garlic bread's really good. So you got to get some of that, and then you got to get dipping sauce, and then you drink a Coke or two while you're eating the pizza. And I don't even want to think about how many calories I consumed in a day. My weight, the highest I think that I ever weighed was, it fluctuated always day to day, it still does, 252, 255. So I am 5'4", 255 pounds, not healthy. I was wearing a size 20, depending on the brand, 22 sometimes. Shirts, I was definitely in, anywhere from a 3XL to a 22, 24 plus size brand. Again, a lot of that depends on the brand. But I was not a healthy person. I had no stamina whatsoever. The slightest bit of exercise, my God, bending over to try and tie my shoes, I couldn't breathe. And that took a toll on everything. I had no sex drive. Why would I want to have sex? I felt like crap. My body was disgusting. I hated myself, quite literally. I didn't like anything about myself, the way I looked, the way I felt, and I didn't care. I just kept eating more. And my husband would get upset because I never wanted to have sex. And I never felt it. I would get, all the physical symptoms of overeating. I'd get, super full and bloaty and gassy and gross. And who wants to have sex when you feel like that? And, just everything. I was essentially eating myself to death. And then when I stopped taking the birth control, and then I started really paying attention to what I put in my body. I was on a prescription that my doctor wrote for my triglycerides for maybe 6 months to a year. I don't remember exactly how long. But one of the things that got me was one of the side effects of the prescription was avoid direct sunlight. And that just kind of struck me. I'm like, what exactly am I taking here that I can't go out in the sun? And I asked the pharmacist, I'm like, what does this mean? And he was like, well, you know, normal limited exposure's fine, but it's talking about like if you're going into Florida and you can't be out in the sun all day. I'm like, okay, but still, I get it. I'm pale. I burn up quickly. But what am I putting into my body that means I can't spend extended time in the sun? So that is when I really started looking into natural, holistic, herbal options. And I found that fish oil pills do pretty much the same thing as a prescription. So without telling my doctor, I stopped taking the prescription, which is a bad idea. You should always talk to your doctor. I started taking the fish oil pills, and I did it for about 6 months before I finally told her. And thankfully, it was working. My numbers were dropping. And thankfully, I had a doctor who listened to me. And so she actually prescribed me a slightly stronger fish oil pill, but still holistic, still an herbal option, not a regular prescription. And that's kind of what started this. I started really paying attention to everything I eat. I do not have celiac disease. I know I don't, but I've tried to go gluten-free as much as possible, just because I notice a difference in how I feel. If I do not eat a lot of gluten, I don't feel as bloated, as gassy, you know. I cut out soda pop almost immediately. The carbonation in that would make me feel all bloaty and gross. Like I could just feel my stomach gurgling. And just doing those little things to start with. Like, these were not radical, all of a sudden, throw out all the food, change everything changes. These were, oh, let's try this. Baby steps, you know, little bits here and there, and see what happens. So I figured I will kind of show you my pantry. I don't know how many people actually want to see that, but it keeps you from having to stare at my face all the time. So I am going to pause a moment while we switch around and go to the pantry. So this is my pantry. It is the top of an old hutch that I put in my closet because it didn't fit anywhere else. So I'm not going to pretend that everything I eat is 100% all natural, gluten-free, all organic. Nope, it's definitely not. But I'm trying to get a good balance of good and bad. So I found these guys, and I am not endorsing any brand, anything. You do your own research. You find what works for you. These I really like. All natural, organic. They're a good flavor. Like, I don't even like regular Pop-Tarts anymore. They taste like cardboard. Now, they are by no means a low-calorie snack. 400 calories for one package, and what is that? 74 grams of carb. 34 of that is sugar. I'm not pretending that that is a healthy breakfast by any means, but all natural, organic ingredients, at least better than pumping preservatives into my system. Again, I am not pretending that that is any way, shape, or form a healthy treat. I try to drink tea. Everybody tells me to drink tea, how good it is for you. I just don't like most of it. The lemon ginger is one of the few that I like. I don't remember why I bought the St. John's wort, but I don't drink it plain because, again, I don't like it. I mix it with other stuff, like with lemon and stuff. So it makes it taste better, at least for me. So like the pancake mix, it's still pancakes, but it's higher protein. So you don't need as much to feel satisfied. It makes you feel a little fuller. So this pure pumpkin, it's organic. I get that. I cook almost everything with coconut oil. That's what the Simply Nature green bottle is. The taller bottle. This is a really good all-natural garlic olive oil spray. I will coat chicken in that sometimes. My pantry's a mess. Don't judge me. I love pickles. So lots of sweet pickles. And Girl Scout cookies again. Bread and butter pickles. I love those. So, and these guys, these cauliflower sea salt crackers, these are so good. I really wasn't sure if I was gonna like them, because I tried to make the whole mashed potato thing out of cauliflower, and I really did not like that. But it's really good. So those are a great snack. I mean, just simple little things. I switched to an all organic ketchup. Like, it's less sugar, and the flavor, instead of being sweet, is slightly tart. And, you know, like oranges, I drain them, I rinse them. Pineapple chunks, same thing, rinse them, drain them. I actually put those two together. It's really good. The spiritine stuff, I love. I put it in my smoothies. I freeze bananas and then make smoothies with the vanilla protein powder and the banana protein powder. This stuff is delicious. I find it at Meijer. It's just a mix. All it is cashews, which I love. And they are, thankfully, a healthy fat. Cashews, almonds, tart cherries, blueberries, and cranberries. And it's so good. And it's a nice little snack. And because it's at least healthy fats, it's very filling. Like, a little bit of that will satisfy me for a while. And then, you know, little things. Ranch dressing, no, not the healthiest. 2 tablespoons, 130 calories. That's a lot. But it's good with these little pretzel crisps. So, I mean, like I said, I am not going to stand here and pretend that I eat 100% all organic, gluten-free all the time, because I don't. I am still working on it if I could afford to. It's expensive. You know, like my tortilla chips. I love chips and salsa. That is one of my favorite snacks. So the all corn chips are gluten-free. Now, obviously, that's still, I get the Meijer brand because that's just what kind I like. Obviously, still a lot of sodium, and they're still carbs, but they are gluten-free. I've tried these before. They're not bad. It's just, I like those better. So, and then like these little guys, they are just little caramel rice cake snacks, and they're so good. Now, they're a good little snack, and they are gluten-free, and they're all natural and organic, but I will say those do not have much staying power. Like, if I want something crunchy, something to munch on, those will work, but I'm hungry again in like an hour and a half, so those don't have a whole lot of staying power. So, my point is, don't think, please God, don't think I'm endorsing anything. You know, look, there's some red quinoa in there, and there's some barley. I like mixing those together. Quinoa, to me, by itself, is really gross and plain. But you mix it with a little garlic oil, throw some ginger in there, maybe a little fresh squeezed orange juice, and it's nice and tasty. So, again, I am not trying to say, oh my God, go completely organic and all natural and all of your problems will go away. No, that is not at all what I'm saying. But stop and think about how foods affect you. So I love, my table is a mess. Please don't judge me. Apple fritters. Oh my God. They're so horrible, but they are my favorite. So I bought a 4-pack from Meijer the other day, and I am limiting myself to 1 a day because I quite literally have eaten all 4 in 1 day before. But, you know, I still have the things that are not so great, but I have them a lot less than I used to. You know, I pay attention to how those things affect me. So here, you can look at all my pretty paintings if you want. With carbs, you know, excess carbs, like if I binge out on pizza or something like that, it's usually not the day after. It's usually the second day after. I will find myself just in a melancholy, mopey mood. Just everything is personal. Like, oh my God, that person cut me off. They hate me. Or, oh my God, he was so rude. Why doesn't he like me? Like, like seriously, like obnoxiously, annoyingly mopey melancholy, it's from overeating on the carbs. That's what that does to me. Sugar, if I go crazy on the sugar, if I, getting ready to start or something and inhale a bunch of sweets, a bunch of cupcakes or something, oh, I'm a bitch. Everything pisses me off. Oh, if I have way too much sugar, first of all, it gives me a headache, which makes me grumpy anyway. Second of all, usually later that day, sugar hits me a lot faster. Usually later that day, or if it's late at night the next morning, oh, I'm a bitch. Like everything annoys the shit out of me. And I am rude and I am short tempered. And it's just, I am not a nice person. So here, I'm going to flip you guys around here. So, yeah, so I am not going to sit here and pretend that I am the queen picture of health. Obviously, I am not. I am still overweight, but I am working on it. I am way healthier now at approximately 220 pounds than I ever was at 255. And I'm not losing as much weight anymore, but I'm still losing inches. So that's what I'm counting. My clothes fit better. I've gone down sizes. So just trying to make healthier choices, if at least my sister follows the 80-20 rule. 80% of her meal is healthy, 20% not so much. I'd probably say I'm a little more on the 70-30, 60-40 side of that, with a goal of 80-20. But I try to pay attention to what I put in my body. That's why I do the intermittent fasting, because also for me, eating late at night, it makes me sleep more, makes it harder for me to get up in the morning. I was late for work a lot, oversleeping all the time, just because I would overeat at night and then not be able to get up in the morning. So just little changes, just stop and pay attention to how certain things affect your body, how food makes you feel, and just start paying attention to that. So I have changed a lot. I painted this whole wall during the quarantine. I painted everything on the wall except that really big piece right in the middle. I bought that when I moved in. I made that pretty vase, but just pay attention to how food affects you. Like, I have a bag of sugar and I have a bag of flour in there. I was going to make chocolate chip cookies and I never did. They've been sitting in there for like 6 months. Those 2 things of Crisco sitting right there, I moved those. I've lived here almost 2 years now. Never used them. The hot chocolate, I wish I could say that's old, but it's not. I like mixing it with my coffee. Is it healthy? No. Is it cheaper than buying Starbucks? Yes. But it's all about balance. You got to find what works for you. Some people work better on a higher carb, less protein diet, as long as it's the good carbs, the carbs that come from all natural things like potatoes and vegetables and processed grains. They're not processed, unprocessed, whole foods. For me, I work better on less carbs, more protein, but it's all about balance. You just have to find what works for you and listen to your body when it's talking to you. That's the biggest thing that I did not do for so long. I did not listen to what my body is telling me. So that is my message for everyone today. Listen to your body. It's talking to you. What you put in it affects everything from your physical health to your mental and emotional health. Thanks, guys.